All right, welcome to Lightning Talk number 6, UGM 2021. This is Kory Draughn from the iRODS Consortium. His title, he said, is Just Stand It Up. All right, Kory, you got 10 minutes.
All right, so thanks. I just wanted to share this repo with the community because I feel like maybe it would help some people with maybe experimenting with iRODS, or if they have ideas about, they just want to stand it up and play around with it and try things out. This might give them some a way to do that quickly without having to learn and deal with packaging and building the thing, right? So like this also is showing like kind of like my history of trying to learn Docker and get iRODS containerized and things like that. So, but the thing we're going to talk about in particular is this folder here called Compose. Inside of this, I have a few folders where I'm trying to capture the simplest setup to achieve the I guess the thing that I wanted to do, like for example, federation or just standing up iRODS in a Docker environment, as well as topology and some other things here. So in particular, we're going to talk about the thing called just stand it up. Here I've captured how to stand up iRODS with all the supported database backends, and they're all built on Docker Compose. So you can go in here and just literally just run Docker Compose up, and you will get a server that you can play around with. We look in the file here, you can even do things like, specify what version of iRODS you want. You do this and it will go through and install the correct packages for that version. And if you look down here, you can make adjustments to this. Here, I normally use these projects to test and develop things. This is also how, this is what I use to figure out the issues around MySQL and the atomic APIs, and work out a solution for those things. So I kind of, I just really wanted to share this with people because this has proved to be very invaluable, at least for me during the development process. And I feel like it would be helpful for other people to experiment with. I believe a few of my coworkers have forked this project and made adjustments to it, and developed their own schemes for doing certain things. But this does help, with the test and development of iRODS, and I think it's worth people maybe taking a look at. So yeah, that's it.
So Kory, we have another repository called iRODS Development Environment.
Mm-hmm.
Can you bring that one up also? And then
yes,
while you're typing and thinking at the same time, that's important to be able to do. Do these need to be folded into one another? Is this not? I mean, you talk about it as helping the development process, mm-hmm. but should it be in that development environment itself?
It could be. It could also act like the iRODS policy examples or API examples mm-hmm. repos, where it's like, people who are experimenting with iRODS, they can, like, if they have something they want to contribute, they can just maybe put all these things there, right? I think this is a bit more targeted, this repo here, what it's trying to do.
Right. So you said, I know that this one allows you to kind of mount your local source and build whatever version you're working on. You're in a branch, whatever. You yes. talk about the passing a version into the Docker Compose. Can you do that with a SHA of like the local source, or is it installing packages from the internet? They have to already be released.
Yeah, these are like dealing with released packages.
Right.
So, that's why I have the mount points down here, because, I'm working on the host, and you can see I have my build folders mounted into this container, so that I can just say, well, install my development packages and mm-hmm. let's keep it moving.
So it stands it up with 428 in this case, but then you might upgrade to whatever you happen to have built locally.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Let's see, any other questions? No, I might have given some time back.
All right.
Very good, Kory. Thank you.
Mhm.
So there
Jason?
was also iRODS demo. Is there a differentiation between the goals of just stand it up versus the much more vast demo machine versus the development environment? How would we differentiate those?
Well, that might be hard to do. I mean, this is just, me, this is partly me learning Docker Compose, but also kind of like, capturing the bare necessity, like that's needed to stand up, iRODS or do anything you want to do, right? Like I have compose files for doing exactly the thing of standing, like, federating two iROD zones, right? Like I know exactly what it takes to do this, and I've captured that in a compose file.
So this would be something more like, oh, I've got to test this particular feature in a federation, and you can conjure them appropriately.
Yes, that's actually, I think, part of the reason for why I did this, because I was constantly having to do things like stand up a federated zones, and
Right.
having this available made that a lot faster.
So these are, if we were to try and get the candles and the salt, this would be, iRODS Docker examples, kind of like we have iRODS policy examples.
I think that's a
Okay,
fine way to.
It's not quite the same as iRODS development environment, and it's not quite the same as what Jason's saying, iRODS demo. We have a repository called iRODS demo that is iRODS itself, as well as a bunch of different clients that are configured. So you can kind of see metalinks, you can see DavRODS, you can see all that kind of stuff wired up out of the box, so to speak. So slightly
Right.
different audiences. Yeah.
And Mike's talking about testing with a common Docker framework. Is that a thing in the Slack?
I think this could probably be wired into that as well. Yeah, the Docker framework that he's built his universe around is, pretty consistent, but it would be nice to have that come from a centralized source. Yeah, I think that does make sense, Mike.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.